Broadcasting live from Site B at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's your guide, the OGGM, coming to you to the 24th day of January 2025, 68 degrees and sunny here in fire-scorched Los Angeles. I am joined today by Dave Scott of Evil Genius Games to talk about the kerfuffle that's going on with Morris and ENWorlds. Because I am dealing with a legal situation, I do have to remind everybody that as an independent creator, I maintain a clear stance on non-gaming topics. I neither condone nor endorse nor rebuke nor concern myself with any cultural, political, legal, or non-gaming related opinions of any sponsor, business partner, employee, or individuals other than myself, and I wish to keep non-gaming topics out of my products. I'm just here to talk about Goblins with Sticks. That said, let's get Dave Scott on, and everything is here we go. Dave Scott, are you there?
I am, yes. Hello, OGGM.
All right, so to preface, you had reached out to me a couple months ago about the comments I made of the article. We discussed that. I've always felt, I'm a big fan of everything you guys done. I support you. I appreciate that you reached out to me and we were able to talk about Everyday Heroes. The other day, this article appeared in ENWorld and from Morris and got a little legal. I did reach out to you because I wanted you to give a chance. Since then, there has been some more things added onto it. So I do have to be completely clear for transparency. I have informed Mr. Morris of ENWorld of the interview, and his response was, good luck. So.
Oh, that's great. That's nice of him.
All right. So what happened? How did it happen? And whatever. Because, somewhere in here, there's the truth. There's your version. There's their version.
And something in the middle, right?
And somewhere in the middle is the truth. Obviously, because there is the stuff with lawsuits going on, we can't say too much but let me know what happened from your point of view and what you think happened, because that's two different things, I think. And I know there's obviously, when we're dealing with tabletop role-playing games, especially now, it's such a toxic melting pot that it's hard to find the fact from the fiction.
Yeah, and I just don't know why that is, right? Like I've been playing tabletop gaming since I was 10. It's always one of my fondest memories. I've been going to Gen Con since it was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I don't know how it got so toxic.
We got trapped inside for a couple of years, I think. And everybody had a chance to talk,
Fair point.
But the internet gives everybody a voice, and there's no accountability, So I think that's part of it.
Yeah. So I just really want to start at the beginning, right? So just to recap, we had some issues with Netflix, which led to a period where we were unable to pay our staff. At the time, we asked everyone whether or not they would prefer that we lay them off or whether or not they wanted to hang on, because I felt hopeful that we would win our lawsuit. And it was unanimous that, other than one person, is unanimous that everyone wanted to stay on. So that's what we chose to do. But even despite you wanting to do that, obviously not getting paid is hard.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's stressful. And even though that's what you said, and I'm sure people, felt convicted, time takes its toll.
Yes.
Yeah. And it created stress, right? And so when we finally were able to pay everyone, we made the unfortunate decision at that point in time that we just couldn't carry this load any longer. We didn't have the Netflix work to do, and the money that we received from the settlement was not enough for us to really sustain as many. We had a total of 16 staff, as many as there were. So we had to do some layoffs. We went from 16 down to 10.
For anybody who doesn't know what Dave's talking about, he's talking about Rebel Moon.
Rebel, yes. The sci-fi film that shall not be named.
The very beautiful, but not very good.
Listen, I loved it.
It was beautiful. I won't take it away from him. It was beautiful.
It was the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. Cinematic genius. Plot, but gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Sorry, please go on.
And so we went down, and obviously people weren't happy about that. And then there were two other resignations on top of it, two full-time, a couple of freelancers that were working on a project by project basis. And Russ picked up the article and wrote something about it. And listen, the first thing I want to say is I want to apologize to anyone who had a negative experience working under me. Like, I want to validate their lived experience. I've been there where I worked for people I didn't like, or I didn't care for, or didn't like their style and strategy. And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So I want to start out by saying sorry to anyone who had a negative experience.
That is very magnanimous of you. I think that's the word.
Well, I mean, but it's important. It's important for me to acknowledge that.
You're a businessman, and you have to do what's best for business. I'm in no position to judge.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like was this fun? No, and the stress of money is never fun for anyone, and jazz like that. But you know what? Like, I still feel for people, and I don't wish that on anyone. I understand that all of them are now gainfully employed, many of them in the industry, and I just wish them the best of luck. But the challenge is that article. It was very, very clear that Russ was very passionate about developing this article and really trying to find a voice for the disgruntled employees. And if you take a look at the article, you can see so many quotes from them, so much study from them. It must have taken hours and hours of research. The problem is he and I spent all but 23 minutes together for that entire article. And we probably only talked about 5% of the topics that he brought into that article. And from my perspective, I wish we had more time, because I think a lot of stuff was taken out of context. A lot of stuff was incorrect. And I wish he had a chance to really listen to other people other than those that were complaining the loudest. One of the things I did before we got on this call was I actually talked to my staff and I said, did anyone chat with Russ during the making of his article? And they all said no. So out of the 8 people that we kept on, not a single one of them actually talked to Russ. And in fact, one of them said this, and this is a quote from the email, the Discord I sent out. I'd also like to point out, I sent a long email to Russ as an employee who stayed, and not a single piece of what I said to him was utilized for the article, nor were any of the other current staff who were asked by Russ himself to reach out. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how you create a fair and balanced article without having the opportunity and the space to hear both sides.
That is true, which is why I'm glad to give you a chance to present your side. But yeah,
I appreciate it. But the unfortunate thing is that article came out. For me, it felt biased. There's a lot of inaccuracies that I didn't have an opportunity to refute or discuss or put in context. And I'm happy to talk about a couple of those here. But what happened was that people got angry when they read that, and they got angry at Evil Genius Games, and they started saying really mean things. And when I talked to my staff and other people that I rely on, everyone said, oh, Dave, just ignore it. It'll go away sometime. So for a year, I did nothing. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, dozens and dozens, hundreds of people would bomb my social media and attack the company. And what was really disturbing about that was how incorrect the information is that they would use to attack the company.
I do remember some of those videos. And I tried to be as impartial and as mine. If you go back to the one I made, where I was very much like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just reading.
Yeah. But for example,
I gave you a chance to come on, but I do know I can picture a couple of the videos in my head where they just, cherry picked. So I know what that's like.
Yeah, exactly. For example, just this morning, one of these people who read his article commented on a 1-year-old YouTube article that someone created on us and said, wasn't that the company that went all in on NFTs and fired all their employees?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
No, we didn't go all in on NFTs, and we didn't fire all of our employees. But the problem is that this type of misinformation is being spread all over the internet, and it's harmful.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
fake
but
news, and it's
it happens for everybody, big and small. You should see the list of stuff people say about me.
Like what? Let me make me feel better. What do they say about
Okay,
you?
I mean, I could just from my small little corner of the woods. I am both a communist and a fascist. At the same time, we know that I am insignificant. I'm uneducated. I'm inexperienced. Toxic gatekeeper, always a good one. I'm both woke and anti-woke. Don't know what I'm talking about. And no one's ever going to top this one. Godless heathen. That is the best anybody's ever given me as far as
I've got a few that might match that. Actually.
I mean, I've gotten death threats and stuff, but godless heathen, I was like, I can't top that.
Oh, dear
godless
Lord.
heathen, the OGGM. I was like,
So I have to ask, are you a godless heathen?
I don't know. I mean, I played D&D, so I guess I am. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, so listen, like, so those are par for the course. They come in all the time. But where I started to perk up, right, and get concerned was when they started attacking my customers.
Well, yeah.
And they started attacking my prospective customers. So, for example, one guy was on Reddit. And he just posted, "Hey, I'm thinking about finding a modern game, and I heard about this D&D Beyond. I think it's going to be really cool." And then someone jumped on. They posted that letter, and they said, "These guys are the devil. You know, like, why would you ever spend money with them? You're an idiot if you would." Whoa, hold on, right? Another instance that happened, which very much concerned me, was we do contest every month on most months in the Reddit for Foundry and Roll20 giveaways. So we'll go in there and we'll say, hey, listen, like, we're giving away free copies of our Foundry VTT. All you got to do is say, "I'm an evil genius" in the thing, right? Mm-hmm. We've done this four or five times, right? But of course, the last time we did it, someone came in and said, "You're only trying to do that for SEO purposes," which it doesn't make any sense. And they went through and systematically downvoted all 60 people who tried to enter the contest with really, really horrible negative karma scores.
Wow.
And so my feeling is, what did these guys do to you? That
you
would destroy their karma score.
Yeah, if you're unhappy with the company and its politics, that's one thing, but going after individuals, that crosses the line, I think.
Thank you. Yeah. So that, along with the most recent death threat that I received, which mentioned my son, I felt it crossed the line.
Yes.
And I woke up one day and said, I have to figure out a way to put a stop to this. This is beyond economic
harm. All spiraled from that article about the unhappy employee and the NFT, right?
Yes, everything did. Because
I guess maybe Rebel Moon, but I don't really see how. But I mean,
it all spawns from Russ's original article.
Okay.
Yeah. Including the death threat referenced it. So not only are we now getting into a mode where it's causing potential physical harm, we already know that has caused economic harm, and it's getting too serious.
Yeah. I mean, the second death threats are issued, you get the cops involved, and you're just like, I'm done.
Yeah,
you pass it uphill to the to the people who can be responsible for that. I would totally agree.
But it just takes this thing to another level. And the source of all of this, and I have hundreds of examples, the source of all of this is that letter that you know. So there are a couple laws in the books around disparagement and GDPR and privacy and a bunch of other things that warrant takedowns, where you can ask someone for a takedown. One example is, in fact, I might be able to find it somewhere, but Google talks about the different things. But one of them is the information old or outdated? Yes. Right. From my perspective, it's a year old. We've done so many different things to improve the culture of the company. No one's left since then. It is non-information that is longer relevant. Right. Second is it have the potential of causing danger? Yes, it does. And third is it disparaging any individual person, and is it using their information? Yes. He names me 137 times in his article.
Yipe.
And that is how people find you and come to your home. And then, and is it hurting you from brand reputation, economic, or physical harm? Yes. And the number 4 is, can you show economic harm? And the answer is yes. There's direct economic harm that is directly led to this article. So, for example, we were not invited. We were disinvited from Gen Con.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And because of this article. Last year, Gen Con was our most successful marketing, our most successful convention in terms of revenue.
Okay.
We not only broke even, not this year, but the year before, we not only broke even on all of our trade show expenses at Gen Con, but we actually made a little money.
Congratulations.
And when I was a kid, I dreamt of being at Gen Con, right? Like I told you, since I was 20, I'd been going. I started in Milwaukee, and it's always been the most beautiful experience in my life. I met Peter 20 years ago. He and I have stayed friends. Like, this has been the most thing that's cherished. So obviously this is disappointing. Now, I want to say something, which is Gen Con is a private entity. It can choose who they want to be there or not want to be there. I get it. But what I'm saying is that it's disappointing that this is the one piece of information that they use to make that decision.
Not an attorney.
Yeah.
I have no legal say in this. I'm a neutral third party.
Yep. Nope. Yeah. So listen, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. And so it got me to the point where I said, I've got to do something here. Clearly sitting around and ignoring it's not working.
Definitely.
And so I actually hired a firm to sort of go out and do and request takedowns. This was not a legal firm, this was not a legal action. It was not meant to sue them or engage in legal action. It was to lay out a case, and we can all debate whether or not my case was good or bad, or persuasive or not. To lay out a case to ask them to take down some of this information that's leading to these physical threats of violence and economic harm.
Now, at any point in time before that reached that point, did you just say, "Hey, could you take it down, guys?" Or did you directly jump to legal?
Yeah. So to the letter. So that's my fault.
Yeah.
I'm aware of 3 articles that were doing damage, 2 of which were ENWorld, and 1 of which was Rascal News, which said that we were going into blockchain when we weren't. And I wrote a long letter to the folks over at Rascal News asking them to correct the inaccuracies in that article. And I never heard back. And that soured me on the idea that I'd have a chance to actually reasonably communicate with people about this. Now, I've actually done this before. I've actually asked for corrections before in articles. And what usually ends up happening is that there's an editor-in-chief that you appeal to, and then typically they've got a committee that sort of reviews this, and the committee is unbiased and independent. Since Russ owned ENWorld, I did not feel like I was going to have an unbiased opinion on the request that I was going to take. So it might have been a mistake, but I did not approach him about editing or removing parts of the article or challenging the parts that I felt were inaccurate. And that probably should have been my first step.
From personal, yes, but again, not an attorney, not a doctor, but I have seen every episode of House. But yeah, I'm in no position to tell you what to do or not to do.
Yep. Yep. Just the facts, man. That was a quote. That was a joke. Quote joke. Just the facts. That was from Friday.
Yes.
Yes. So that's kind of how we got here, and obviously, the first thing that they did is they published the letter. I saw that. I was rather, and so he reached out to me and said, "Was this you?" And I said, "Yes." And I wrote him a really long letter saying why I was concerned about it. And I laid out the death threats, things along those lines. And the answer I got back was, "You'll be speaking to my attorney." Which again, listen, like my experiences with, and so by the way, like people revere Russ. Russ is, from what I understand, a really good guy.
Russ has always been good to me.
He's been good to you. That's great.
Yeah.
But I've only had one experience with him, and it was the 23-minute, extremely tense, very concerning call. 6 hours before he was going to release that article. That was it. Never had any other experiences with him one way or the other. And so my first impression was not that he was going to be a reasonable guy that would listen and maybe consider it.
Mm.
And that's an assumption on my part, and I apologize if I made that incorrectly.
Mm. So where do we stand now in this strange situation? You have contacted them according to them, and they have made responses according to the article. He just updated it again this morning. So where do we stand now, Dave?
So he has blocked me from reading his article. What did the new update say?
For legal reasons, I am just reading what is on the webpage. I have no stake in this. I woke up this morning to see Dave Scott has sent me a note indicating that he does not intend to sue ENWorld. I haven't replied, as my policy is not to engage with people who have threatened me with legal actions, but I figure folks would want to know. Hopefully puts an end to the matter, but who knows?
Okay, great. That's awesome. So there's a wonderful human being that is that had worked for me for a brief time, named Owen Casey Stevens. And I'm sure you know him, Paizo fame, Starfinder, just a really good guy.
The name is familiar, but I've never spoken to him. Yes.
Yeah. And when the article came out from when the article came out about me suing him or attempting to sue him, he actually posted about it. And he said, "Listen, I'm really disappointed about this. Like, Dave shouldn't have went there. He should have asked him first." And we had a really wonderful conversation on his Facebook thread about this conversation. And he was the one, I'm going to give him 100% credit. He goes, "Did you mean to threaten lawsuit?" And I said, "No, I did not mean to threaten lawsuit." And he goes, "You should tell him that."
Well, thank you, Owen.
I said, "That's actually not a horrible idea." So I go, "I'm going to go tell him that." And literally I fired off an email. I told him exactly that. And I'm so glad. It makes me so glad that he responded with how he responded. That's really wonderful. That makes me feel better about it. Now, what's also interesting is he also gave me another piece of advice, which was after you make it clear you won't take any legal action, offer to set up interviews with current employees. I'm just going to say here today on your show that I would like to extend that offer to Russ to talk to the people who stick around. I think they'd like to talk. I think they'd like
your employees or the employees of ENWorld?
My employees. The people who
if any of them want to come on and talk or talk to Russ.
Yeah, I'm offering them to talk. I'm offering them to Russ.
Yes.
I'm off in the rust. And the reason, I think what Owen was sort of trying to say was, you guys should be big adults and talk about this and not use lawyers and threats and stuff like that. And he's 100% right.
We would hope that, people could still play well with each other.
And I guess my hope is,
especially over a silly game about goblins with sticks, but yeah, things happen.
Yeah, and my hope is that, and the funny thing about it though, OGGM, was even though I felt like the article was so one-sided, he didn't really have enough information about the context on my side to really provide a full-sided article. He actually admitted on one of his posts, he says, "I'm not an investigative reporter. I don't have the expertise," which is fair. It's totally fair. He wrote editorial. It's totally fair. Yeah. But I wish he would have given more time to allow to paint a more three-dimensional picture of me and the company. It's not to escape any things that I did that were bad decisions, but just like it was just so one-sided, right? Like,
yes,
he had over 15 direct quotes from the disgruntled employees, and not a single direct quote from one of my employees that stayed on.
Yeah.
And you'd wonder why not, right? Why not say some people don't like the culture, example. Some people do, example. I don't know why that didn't happen.
You'd have to ask him.
Yeah.
But editorial reporting says, I don't have to, every TV show we've ever seen about reporters. Right. You don't always have to verify the source, and you don't always have to get a contradictory, especially if it's a torpedo piece. The rules of journalism are hazy at best.
But what scares me about that is that he has whether he was inadvertent or not, he has fired up his base, and that base is doing harmful things.
Yeah, I mean, I think the article was pretty, article-y, but yes, people can cherry pick, especially if cherry picking that fits their
narrative.
And then, especially last year when the narrative was the woke versus the OSR or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that were negative were just cherry picking things to find fault in any game company, so they could say, look, that game company is woke, or look, that game company is, and some of the pieces that I saw that were done about you definitely were like, okay, you're just cherry picking to, everybody's like Wizards of the Coast.
Sorry, what was that? I was cherry picking, or the article.
No, like I said, some of the videos I saw after the original article.
Yeah.
It was very obvious that they were cherry picking to fit the narrative of
right.
All new game companies are evil woke, following the footsteps of Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
And look what this guy did to his employees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which I don't think is anywhere close to true. I mean, I don't even think half the things we say about Wizards of the Coast are really true.
But what concerns me is what people are doing is that they're looking at this article, and then they're saying these guys are in Bitcoin, or these. We had one person in general. Some guy was just sort of asking about our game, right? Mm-hmm. And some guy pointed to the article and then said, these guys use all AI for all their artwork. And I was like, wait, well, hold on. Like, we haven't used any AI, and not only that, but like, I think that dishonors the great artists that we have hired. David Chen and
I've counted all the figures of the art. They're all, these aren't AI. They've all got 5 fingers.
Yeah, they got 5 fingers, and like there's mistakes.
I've seen some. Yeah, there's mistakes. Yeah, but yeah, I saw the NFT article too, and I was like, and.
Well, I mean, listen,
it'd be foolish to companies at this point in time not to consider that. It's the future, guys.
But listen, I respect if someone has personal beliefs and that they use those personal beliefs to make buying decisions, right? Like,
Yeah, we all have our personal stuff. Yeah.
But to use your personal beliefs to beat down on other people who are evaluating whether or not they want to buy, that feels over the top to me.
That's what we do, though. I mean, that's tabletop role-playing game, internet 101, you know, unfortunately.
But we were supposed to
find me somebody who doesn't beat down other than me, and I'm still guilty of it sometimes.
But aren't we supposed to be the inclusive group? The ones, I mean, like the nerds in high school that got beat up, and so therefore we were the safe.
Once upon a time we were, but I don't know, man. Something happened.
Ugh. And so like it just that kind of stuff just really bothers me. And
I could definitely agree with that.
Another guy came out and he said, well, you steal people's data. And I was like, no, we don't. He goes, well, there was, you know, in the ENWorld, you know, I'm like, what? No, we don't steal people's data. And then we had an AMA and the guy goes, do you believe that you should be able to sell engagement data? And I go, no. And then he goes, oh, well, do you believe that you should give access to people's viewer history? I go, no. And I go, I don't, but I got to tell you, there are billion-dollar businesses like Facebook and Apple and Google, which actually made billions and billions of dollars doing exactly that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. they totally steal your information, guys.
And so like, why are you mad at me? The one guy who doesn't do it, like go and storm the Google castle.
Yeah.
I'd do it with you.
Yeah.
I won't because I need Google. I like Google. But,
yeah, I don't know what would happen.
But I really hope that person who is so focused on us stealing data, I really hope that person also does not use Apple products and Facebook products and Twitter products.
Submit stuff to Wizards or
Wizards products or anything else, right? I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. So where are we now? What do you want to happen out of this other than the article to go away? Is that still just the end goal? I mean, do you want Morris to apologize?
No, God, no. I don't think he did much wrong. I think he was trying to write a book. He was trying to write a piece which gave voice to the disgruntled employees, and that's what he did. Right. In an ideal world, I wish he would do another piece where he fast forwards to now and he focuses on where the company is. For example, after we had that whole situation, we hired an HR consultant and we looked really hard at ourselves. We had a full day where we actually created missions and values and talked about what kind of company we want to be and what kind of culture we want to make, and we made those changes. I hired an executive coach because I sat down with all my employees, and I also offered to sit down with the people who were disgruntled, and I said, what did I do wrong? And they gave me an earful.
That's huge. That you're willing to look at yourself through that lens.
I worked on it. Like one criticism, for example, was that in the articles that I misgendered some people, and I do have 2 people in my company today who go by they, them pronouns. And I was growing up in a world where I called everyone sir and ma'am.
Yeah, ditto.
And my mom was Southern. And so I slipped up from time to time. Not meaning any disrespect to them, but that's just how that's how I was raised, right? So I've now made a really concerted effort to make sure that I respect their pronouns. And it hasn't, if it's happened, it hasn't happened a lot since then.
Yeah, and somebody's going to cherry pick that sentence.
I know. That means you did it
wrong. Woke and pro gender and.
But the thing about it is that one of those people just celebrated their 3-year anniversary with us.
Congratulations.
Which means that I think they like the job.
Yeah, I mean, if you can keep somebody in a gaming company for 3 years.
Yeah, well, who does that? But that was kind of my idea. My idea was to really create like stability for the team, and I really wanted to provide working wages and healthcare. And we were going down that path when the Netflix thing happened. I actually had quotes from healthcare providers. We had already put offer letters together for everyone, and then of course, without the money, we had to stop.
Yeah, the Netflix thing was
and it was unfortunate. And I know that disgruntled a lot of people who were counting on that money. They were counting on that healthcare. And trust me, I get it. But it was out of my control at that point in time.
Understandable. Okay. So going forward, obviously, we want to repair the damages. We want to get you back at Gen Con. What do you want to see happen out of this?
It's okay if I don't go to Gen. You know what? This might give you an opportunity to go as just a customer again and actually have fun.
Oh, no. Okay.
And I just want to say, I want to thank all the other shows. I want to thank UK Games Expo. I want to thank Gary Con. I want to thank Origins. They all called me directly and said, we'd love to have you here.
Mm-hmm. But Gen Con didn't feel comfortable having you.
And that meant the world to me.
It did. I would, man. Yeah.
You know, and it's fine. It's okay. They can do that. I just wish they would have sort of said, hey, we read this article, didn't love it. What's your side of the story? That's all I wish it would have happened.
Yeah. Well, always. Yeah. It's always what we wish, is we would have a say in things, but unfortunately we don't always do. All right, cool. Well, is there anything else you want to say? I mean, we're I guess now we're waiting to see what Morris is going to do next, but are we just done?
I don't know. Listen, I
hope, you know,
I kind of feel like
down the article and move forward and maybe have a chance to facilitate a conversation between the two of you again. I will send him a copy of this once it's done, and, you know, full transparency, so he knows everything that was said.
Here's what I'll say. I know that people look down upon me for sending those letters, but I'm not going to stop until people stop attacking me, threatening my family, and people stop attacking my customers.
Okay.
And you know what? Someone told me about the Streisand effect. This probably won't be the case. Like, no matter what, even if you took it down, it's probably going to show up 60,000 more times. And so it's probably a ridiculous assumption that it even gets taken down. Right?
Yeah, even if he takes it down right now, it's out there.
Yeah, and not only that, but like
other people have copied and pasted it.
Oh, sure, yeah. But not only that, but then also like he doesn't necessarily have control over the people who read it and arguably what they said.
No, he has no control over
that. And so, you know, maybe he even I hope he understands my fear and my concerns, and I hope he's sympathetic to that, you know. But like I can understand also, you could say, well, listen, I just reported what I reported. I didn't tell them to go and bomb your house. I didn't tell them to go and I said this about blockchain. I didn't say that about blockchain. I said this about AI. I didn't say that about AI. And I get that, but I am asking for his help and other people's help to try to stop the escalation of this issue, and to promote civil discourse.
Well, that would be nice. Hopefully, it would happen. Again, he has said that now that there was the mention of legal, he is not engaging on the website. So I assume that's, you know, as long as that's going to be the situation, he's going to stay by the legal thing that his people have told him. So he's not engaging with you or the case at this point in time. Again, let me remind everybody, I am not an attorney and I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And it's funny because that's probably a really smart strategy. Now, the good news is his lawyer is Brian Lewis. Brian Lewis is also my lawyer. So maybe there's an opportunity for Brian Lewis to bring us together. You never know. Okay.
I mean, all we want out of this, obviously, is the death threats and the awful stuff to stop.
That's all I want. Yeah, that honestly, that's all I want. Like,
and that's nothing that Morris has control over, but, you know, he's always in the position to go, dude, guys.
Yeah, and I would agree with you, but for the fact that every single one of them points back to his article.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so
that was the spark that they needed. But I mean, you know, they would have gone after you for any reason.
I don't know if they would. You know what I mean? Like, by the way, it's not like we had a rosy social media life before that. It'd be amazed on how many people attacked us over being 5e compatible.
Oh yes, I'm sure. God,
I mean, we got threats around that. People. We actually got shut down from Facebook 4 days into our Kickstarter because people did not believe that we had the legal licenses to do these deals because they thought it was impossible that anyone can get 8 licenses at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think the internet, people are looking for controversy. They're looking for to attack people, particularly the small guys. And I think that they just use this as an outlet for hate. But I just really wish that guys like Russ can understand my perspective and maybe help me do something about it before I or my team or my customers are in real serious danger.
I would hope that too, but again, I'm in no position to jeopardize my independence or risk going to court.
I'm not illegal, but I'm not a lawyer, but I play one on TV.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I've seen every episode of House. And selfishly, I am doing this just to get views, but yeah, let's face it. But you were cool to me, and you sent me stuff when you didn't have to, so you deserve a chance.
And oh man, and you ripped me a new one on your opener. Like you were not swayed at all by me giving you free stuff. You gave a very fair, very honest perspective of the game based on
Everyday Heroes. I did a whole deep look into every class. I don't know if you saw those.
Oh no, I didn't. Did you?
What I liked and didn't like. Oh yeah, it's on there.
Oh okay, I got to check that out.
Yeah. There's. I mean, I'm gonna find fault in any game. Don't feel bad.
Well, what's funny is the one.
I'm a huge fan of the fact that you got the licenses. And did I hear a rumor you got Living Dead?
No, it's not a rumor. We have Return of the Living Dead for
Return of the Living Dead. So that's not for everybody. That's not the George Romero. That's the Brains one.
Yeah, it's the More Brains one.
Yeah, that's the sort of comedy one. So congratulations on that.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is that a week after we got offered Night of the Living Dead, and we're like, oh, we just signed Return of the Living Dead. We can't do two at the same time. I mean, maybe we should, but I was like,
so you got the Romero, offered the Romero one and Living Dead?
Yes.
Oh, well, you should do both. And
I don't know. I think that's a lot of resources for zombies.
Well, you should reach out to the Soska twins because they just did that movie.
Well, not only that, but they're doing a TV show, which is why they're excited about extending their license.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Well, definitely. Because, I know the Soska twins just did that, George Romero update, Carnival of the Living Dead. Yeah. So they've got a lot of research. So, I could bring people I respect together, big fan of the Soska twins, big fan of you.
There you go.
Anything that helps my brand.
But, I'll be honest with you. We have our sights set on some interesting properties. We, as you know, we took the Rebel Moon stuff, we converted it into Intergalactic Heroes, which, by the way, is available as a beta on our Sidekick platform. I don't know if you want to show Sidekick really quickly. There you go. Yeah. You got to click the logo. And people are loving it. They're really loving it. And Brian C.P. Steele did a phenomenal job converting stuff over. And he wrote a brand new sci-fi system, a SIP combat system that we've been playtesting. Go to library. All right, and then go to source books. Yeah, we got over 61 products on here. We've been really heads down creating great property. But yeah, right there, the third one.
Not Rebel Moon.
Yeah, so it's actually free. Anyone can read it. Anyone can play it. It's a small subsection of what we're going to be releasing. But I'm just pleased to punch with that. And that's what we're focused on. We're focused on sci-fi next.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's a world that could be explored, or in your version of it, there was a lot of potential.
Well, I'm a huge Starfinder fan. And I think Starfinder's great, but it plays a certain niche in the world.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, there's not a lot of very, very specific, very, very generic science fiction toolboxes. Uh-huh. And by the way, I've got massive respect for Traveler and some of the other things. But But we were just excited to sort of fill that gap.
Yeah, that's true. There is not a lot of generic space.
It's not a lot of generic space. Yeah.
There's very specific. There's Star Wars, Star Trek, big
Yeah.
stompy Mac.
Yeah.
But it's just, here's some space and here's some space guys go crazy. There's very few that do that besides Traveler.
Go do some space stuff.
Yeah, just do space stuff. Yeah. We provide the system.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, yeah. And zombies. Who doesn't love Living Dead?
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We have an amazing writer named Nick Lowe, and he's just done some really beautiful writing around it. I mean, you get to play zombies, you get to fight zombies. It's going to be very enjoyable.
Oh, cool. Player character zombies. That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the third Return of the Living Dead film, but what they were doing, there was a lady in there that got bit, and she was able to control the zombification through pain.
Yes, I remember her. Yes.
Yeah. And so she stayed human.
Yeah. The one with all the piercings and everything.
Yeah. She used those piercings particularly to control her pain, and that slowed down all the stuff. So you get to do that.
Yeah, cool. Fun. Well, I'm sorry that this is the reason why we had to talk again, but hopefully everything will work out and you can communicate with ENWorld in facilitating a beneficial ending to this. And I appreciate you giving me a chance to talk to you about it. Again, let me remind everybody, I am a third party independent. I do not condone or confirm any of the legalese involved in this, and I am not legally responsible for anything that is said. A copy of this will be sent to Mr. Morris in full transparency, and in full transparency, of course, I'm doing this just to get views.
Fair.
But no, I appreciate it. I wear the sweatshirt. I've got the game sitting on my shelf. And I appreciate that you were able to get all those amazing IPs. It still amazes me. And every time you post something new, I'm like, how the hell did they get that? So I felt you deserve this, and hopefully I did the case justice.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, OGGM. As always, it's enjoyable to speak with you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Sorry it had to be under these circumstances, but
yeah.
Definitely anytime you want to come on and talk about product instead of legal stuff, please let me know.
Okay. Sounds fair.
Is there anything else you'd like to say before we bring this to an end, sir?
Be safe.
We covered everything.
Safe with the fires, man. Like, oh, geez. Like, you got half the country that's burning, another half that's freezing.
Yeah. And then we're going to rain tomorrow, so we'll get burning and flooding. And flooding.
Well, but won't the rain stop the flooding?
Depends where the it depends where the rain is and whether we'll stop the fires or not. But then we have to worry about, because there's so much stuff that was burnt away, all that dirt. Because Californians, we build on hills.
At least it's not you're building on landfill.
Los Angeles, we there's a hill. Let's build on it. We need that view. What's this erosion thing?
Well, and then isn't fire insurance like $3,000 a year or something like that? It's like insane.
Yeah, it's outrageous since it went up with the Thompson fires in 2018.
Yeah,
and now it's going to go up again because of this, and so many people are going to lose their policies too, which is really crappy.
I hope the governor steps in on that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but it just sucks. I know so many people that lost everything. And people are like, well, they're famous. They're millionaires. Who cares if they lost their house? It's like, yeah, they lost their house. They lost their life. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, they have the money to buy a new one. Not that they can build a new one up there because of the zoning, but they lost all the memories,
Yeah, it's like the mementos and stuff like
all
that.
All the mementos, the childhood pictures, that favorite Snuggie that they your baby curled up with. Yeah, that's all gone. That's horrible. It doesn't matter how much money you have. I still have PTS from the Thompson fire, so
yeah.
But
your house is safe.
Where I live right now is safe, yes.
Okay.
But I definitely have friends who are, hey, can I come stay at your place? Right now, Ventura is safe.
It's good to hear.
But thanks for asking, and hopefully you're safe wherever you are.
So far, so good.
All right. Thank you, Dave Scott of Evil Genius Games and the amazing Everyday Heroes. Thank you for allowing me to talk to you and giving everybody a chance to hear your story. Thank you, ENWorld, for allowing me to do this. I asked them if they were okay with it, and they said they were. So there we go. If anybody has any questions for Dave, speak now or forever hold your peace, all 4 of you.
There are 4 people listening.
Yeah, I told you, dude, I'm small. I don't have the respect of a lot of other channels, but you deserved it. I'm surprised I was the first. I figured somebody bigger would reach out. But...
yeah, well.
All right. Then
all right.
Goodbye, Dave. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and I will talk to you later. Thank you very much. Thank you each and every one of you that stuck around and listened to Dave. Talk to you soon.
Tell that you go screaming, flying, tiger, flying, temple, flying,